passionate about Cleveland sports.
He's going in, touchdown!
Browns, Indians, Cavs, the Big Ten, and more.
Cleveland is a city of champions once again!
Andy and Jarid, Cleveland and beyond.
Swinging it right! To deep right!
Here are your hosts, Andy Billman and Jarid Plotson.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Andy and Jarid, Cleveland and beyond, and here is our very special bowl preview episode. We're going to be disappearing for a while, so we want to make sure that we get this one done, where we're going to give our predictions on. Are we going through, Andy? Are we going to go through all of them and give random, ridiculous predictions?
We're going to do one-liners. We're going to do one-liners. In fact, I have the scoreboard teed up. We're not going to get into breakdowns. I'll probably talk a little bit about Purdue as I have to. Maybe we talk a little bit about our favorite Wisconsin line against Miami last year as they play again in the repeat bowl. You know, what's your favorite Washington State, Iowa State story from the past? We'll have some jokes and humor throughout. By the way, my favorite bowl was last night. It was, let me make sure I got this right because I laughed out loud. It was, the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl. I thought that was awesome. I thought that was very cool.
What?
Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl. Marshall, if you had Marshall out there. Marshall, the big one. I thought that was my favorite. I love that bowl game. So we'll go through each bowl. We'll talk about what we think, and then we will sit on the big three, the two semifinal games in the Rose Bowl. Let's tee it up to what's going on live, though. Florida International, my Rockets, they're in a 14-10 battle. I think, just as an overall comment, I think if you're from Ohio, you cheer for the MAC schools or schools like Toledo in Ohio, right? You have to. I think you have to. So hopefully the Rockets pull that out. They had a wonderful beach experience there in the Makers Wanted Bahamas Bowl. So that's, when I think of bowl games, that's always what rolls off my tongue coming in. For people who really love things to do and love college football, Saturday's when it all kicks off. Memphis, Wake Forest at noon on the 22nd. Wake Forest, actually Memphis is a 3.5-point favorite here. Legion Field, which is a very historical place where they've had a lot of big Iron Bowls in the past from Alabama, Auburn. They played the SEC championship game here. I think the big story here is, for people who love all this kind of juiciness in the press, Memphis basketball is actually where that's at this year because Penny Hardaway is fighting with Rick Barnes. And then Wake Forest, which is traditionally a basketball school, this is kind of a basketball school matchup here. Wake Forest is, played Notre Dame. They're fast team, but they really don't have much. They're like a lower version of Northwestern, Jared. And Memphis, they've actually been an up-and-coming program now for a while. If you really want to be like, hey, I have a gambler's itch, I would take Memphis. I wouldn't be surprised if Memphis wins big because I think they're that, because they could. Wake Forest, though, never quits, never dies. Is there anything more that interests you about the Birmingham? By the way, the Jarid Birmingham Bowl.
They spell it wrong.
Yeah. Well, I know. Yeah, they're going with the jeweler, clearly.
I'm an ID. He's an ED. So, not really. You're talking about a 6-6 Wake Forest team. There's nothing entertaining. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say it. There's nothing entertaining. It is entertaining, but I don't know what the hell to expect out of this game.
Right. See, this is why I like this. See, I'm the snobby college football fan who watches every game, and Jared's your average day fan. I might watch a couple minutes of this. Jared's probably giving you what I'm hearing.
I watch the big boys. I watch the big boys. I'll pay attention to Youngstown State. I like to know what's going on with Marshall for those reasons. But no, I don't get big into Memphis Wake Forest. I don't think I'm alone on this one, Andy.
How about Houston Army?
Now I will get into this one. There's reason to get into this one.
Okay.
Because Army is a surprise this season with 10-2 and had a solid win to close. It won the Army-Navy game that they don't win very often.
They've won 3 in a row now. They've won 3 in a row, maybe after a long losing streak.
I guess long. What are we running over there with Army? A quadruple option? Some sort of strange, hand the ball off to as everyone crosses in the backfield? I have no idea what that offense does.
The melon balls from back in the 1890s and 1900s. But Houston Army's at 3:30. Army's a 5-point favorite, by the way, in that game. This is always a good sign of a good bowl game. Dollar General Bowl, and there's no line being shown because there's obviously wackiness going on in Vegas between Buffalo and Troy. That's in Mobile, Alabama, by the way. So for people who are picking these things, Troy is based in Alabama. I would pick Troy big in this game.
I would root for Buffalo because Buffalo is, that's my area. And another team Youngstown State used to play.
I want Buffalo to win, but I love Troy in the games. I know Troy's based in Alabama, and they're always sneaky good in these kind of games. It's a home game for the fight. I think they're the Warriors now. They're not the Fighting Rainbows. They used to be the Rainbows forever, but it's Hawaii versus Louisiana Tech in the SoFi Hawaii Bowl. I mean, and of course they put Louisiana Tech as the home team. I mean, whenever I see these matchups, I automatically just check the box of Hawaii, right? I don't even there's a point to see what Louisiana Tech's got. Hawaii's got to win that game.
No, I don't want to watch that game because I don't feel like getting jealous at the weather.
Yeah, 10:30 start, by the way. It's a little late.
Okay, never mind. I won't see it. I didn't catch that part. It's not a day game.
A little late. Boston College, Boise State's on the 26th. That's at 1:30. So after you open up your gifts and you're Santa hungover, hey, turn on ESPN. They have a triple header. Boston College, Boise State, Minnesota, Georgia Tech, and the Quick Lane Bowl at 5:15. 9 o'clock, Cal, TCU. The only thing I take out of these games, Minnesota, for the Big Ten standpoint, it'd be nice to see them beat Georgia Tech. That's in Ford Field. It's in Detroit. Minnesota should win that game. Georgia Tech just changed coaches. I'll repeat, Minnesota should win that game. On the 27th on Thursday, you got another triple. I get so excited about bowl games. I add another fix. A triple header, Duke and Temple for the Battle of the Books in Shreveport, Louisiana, the Independence Bowl, now called the Walk-Ons Independence. What is Walk-Ons? I've never even heard of that. Miami plays Wisconsin. No clue. And a repeat game at 5:15. That's the Pinstripe Bowl. That game actually has really built up juice over the years. And then Baylor and Vanderbilt.
Yeah, it's been around since 2010 now. I think Syracuse was in the first one, and they're playing it at Yankee Stadium. That's actually a game that's fun to watch. I think over the past few years.
I agree. I was gonna say that's a game I'm gonna sit on too. It'll be interesting to see. Miami's had a very disappointing season.
Yeah.
Their recruiting has not gone well so far. It's a big game for Miami. And we've mentioned this. I think Wisconsin's kind of transitioning here as well because I think Nebraska's going to be good next year. So I think it's an important game for Wisconsin just to keep face. Obviously, the big game of the bowl game season, Jared, is Purdue and Auburn at the Music City Bowl for the Nissan Stadium in Nashville. It's the Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl. Man, it's a mouthful. That's at 1:30. I will be there along with all the Billmans. Boy, 1:30 on a Friday when I'm working? Come on. Who's scheduling this over there in ESPN World? But here's the thing to watch is I love Purdue. Purdue should not win this game. Auburn's got a great defense. Auburn's only a 4-point favorite, which I'm surprised by. I thought it'd be more like 7. Purdue should not win this game. Auburn's much better on defense. Their offense is okay. Really what it comes down to, Jared, is can Auburn's offense score more than 20 points? I think they will, and they win. If Purdue keeps that offense around 20-23, I think Purdue has a chance. I do, but
Yeah, I mean, Purdue. If Purdue can score, I hate even thinking about it. Purdue looked fine against Ohio State. So.
I know. Auburn's defense is very, very good.
Yeah.
And by the way, tickets. Yeah, that's the difference. I hate doing this. I love Purdue. I'll be rooting for them hard. I think Auburn's going to win it, though. I hope I'm wrong. I think that's going to be a tough game for Purdue. And by the way, those tickets, for whatever reasons, as you scroll through, you can see ticket prices. Those tickets are going for $60 a piece, which tells you people are going to be in Nashville for that game, which is great to see. West Virginia, Syracuse is in the Camping World Bowl. That's in Orlando, Florida.
This one I'm interested in, and I'm surprised that the tickets are as inexpensive as they are. These are two teams that fight to the end, and both have scrapped their way, into the top 20.
I agree.
I don't know how you don't want to watch this one.
I agree. I think the big thing here is, can Greer and West Virginia kind of bounce back after that? They did not look good against Oklahoma. I know they put up a lot of points, but can they finish off the year? And Syracuse, I think I'll be honest with you, Jared, the Notre Dame game took a lot of gloss off Syracuse this year, because they beat Clemson the year before. They played Clemson tough this year. When they got blown up by Notre Dame, I think it took some of their bit euphoric year off. I think Syracuse could really use that game. Wouldn't be surprised if Cuse wins that game.
Yeah.
Just from vibes and not really reading the matchups. Iowa State Washington State's actually a very good game.
Mm-hmm.
It's at 9:00 though in San Antonio Dome. It's actually a preview for but boy, he seems like he's dropped off the radar for Matt Campbell. So you can kind of say it's a Browns preview there.
Yep.
I think the thing to watch in this game that I've learned, Campbell's an Ohio kid. He always gets Iowa State to play up well. I just get the vibe, Jared, Iowa State's going to win that game. I know Washington should win it. They've had a better year, but Campbell always seems to be one of these guys who gets his team to play above what they are.
Agree.
I think they'll win that game.
I agree.
We'll skip over Notre Dame, Clemson's. We'll get back to that. So then on Saturday, the 29th, all sorts of games really throughout the day. This game I do think has a lot of interest. Florida, Michigan in the Peach Bowl. Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl at noon. I love that start, noon time. Let's do the team we probably don't talk about enough. Florida's offense has a quarterback that's really struggled. They've him and Hod. Florida's had a good year so far, but this is a great way to really, really encapsulate a year where they played better than what people thought they were. When they lost to Kentucky at home, people thought their season was over. So I think Florida kind of needs this game. Boy, you want to talk about a guy who could use an emotional lift.
I mean, you talk about Florida needing this game. Yeah, Harbaugh needs this game.
That's why I brought up Florida first. I think it's an important game for Florida. Ooh. I think Florida really could use this game. Yeah. Boy, could Harbaugh use this game? I've heard everybody across the map talk about the Harbaugh theory. Their defense wasn't as good. Their defense was good. They just had a terrible day. It's all over the map in this game. If you held a gun to my head, I think this is the toughest game to pick in a way. If you held a gun to my head, I'm just going to take Michigan's. I still think Harbaugh is a good coach.
In a close
I think
one.
It's a squeaker.
In a close
squeaker.
One. Yep.
Squeaker. I completely agree.
And I hate to say this. I want them to win. I love it when with Big Ten teams. I want them to beat Florida teams. I want them to beat down south teams. I want them to beat SEC teams, and that's just how I feel.
It's important. The noon game on ABC, South Carolina, Virginia. Actually, for your neck of the woods, that's a big game for Virginia because they haven't been in a bowl like this in a long time. It's the Belk Bowl. I just think the thing to watch here is South Carolina.
Couldn't be more southern than that, the Belk Bowl.
Oh, the Belk Bowl. Yeah, people don't know Belk's the big southern clothing chain.
It's like a Penny's, a Sears. I swear, I get my Levi's at Belk every once in a while.
So. Yeah. The only thing I'll give this game is the ACC has really not looked good. They've been ranked by far the worst conference this year. I think it's very accurate. I think the ACC is very down. This is one of those games the ACC can win and make themselves look better. It's a winnable game. It's in Charlotte. We'll see what happens, but that's one of the winnable games where the ACC can look better against an SEC opponent. Nevada plays Arkansas State in the Nova Homes Arizona Bowl. It's on CBS Sportsnet. Good luck trying to find that channel. Nevada, Arkansas State, Oklahoma, Alabama will save to the end.
Yep.
Then on the 31st, which again is a traditional now big bowl day, starts off at noon with Cincinnati, Virginia Tech. Both teams kind of come in on different paths. Cincinnati had a good year. Va Tech was all over the place. They were sometimes great and ranked, and they lose to Old Dominion. Then they have good wins, and then they lose a terrible game on the road in the ACC. Hard to read this game. Probably Cincinnati pulls it off. Virginia Tech got in with a late season win over a makeup game. Stanford plays Pitt in the CBS Sun Bowl. This is in the past. The Sun Bowl was always a sexy game. I'll admit this is not one of their sexier matchups. Not really into this game this year. Pitt played in the ACC championship game. It's very simple. Pitt can't throw. Pitt can't throw a ball and save their lives. I think Stanford wins big in this game. I think Stanford blows them out. Michigan State plays Oregon. Michigan State's had again, kind of like some of these other teams we mentioned, win big games and lose big games. They beat 2. They look great on the road against Penn State, and they lose games they should win. Oregon's kind of had a weird year, too. They have a quarterback named Herbert, who normally we'd be trying to read up on and study up on. We don't have to anymore. It was a Baker Mayfield. That's the Levi Stadium game at 3 o'clock. Would like to see Michigan State win this game. I think Oregon wins.
Oregon might be slinging it. They might win this one by 14-21. I don't know. They might be up big.
I agree. Missouri-Oklahoma State is an interesting game for people who do like college football. Missouri ranked actually coming in this game in the Liberty Bowl. Oklahoma State, again, teams all over the place. They beat Texas. They lose the teams they should beat. Missouri had a very good year. They needed a year like this after last year. I think Missouri wins in Memphis. Northwestern plays Utah in the San Diego Credit Union, boy, another long name, San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl. Say that 5 times fast. Jeez Louise. Northwestern versus Utah. Utah's a heavy favorite in this game. I'll actually, as I'm sure you got some sort of opinion on Northwestern, would not be surprised Northwestern wins.
No, not at all. I think that line's at rather large.
I do too.
That's kind of a surprise. Northwestern is not a team that's going to get walked on, I don't think, by any means in this game. I think Northwestern actually wins this one.
I do too. I think Northwestern wins. I think this last game, the Gator Bowl is always usually a good game. It's Texas A&M, NC State. It's the last game to run out before you kiss your girlfriend or you kiss your husband or you kiss whoever at midnight. NC State plays Texas A&M. I think this is a blowout waiting to happen in Jacksonville. I think Texas A&M wins big. I think Jumbo Fisher and those guys are going to be very, very good next year. New Year's Day, you get your hangover, you get your Alka-Seltzer out. And what do you watch? You kick it off Mississippi State. This is usually when a lot of Big Ten teams play, Jared. Usually the Big Ten starts rolling out these teams along with the SEC, and it kicks off right with Mississippi State, Iowa. This is an interesting matchup. Mississippi State's got a good quarterback. Iowa is always the same old Iowa. They're gritty, they're tough, they make you make mistakes. I hope I'm wrong. I think Mississippi State wins this game by 10+.
Yeah.
7, I think, is a very good line. This would be one of these games if Iowa were to win, is a great steal for the Big Ten.
This isn't one of those years I see Iowa being a team to be scrapping through and taking this game, though. I don't either. Mississippi State's got a great defense, and they have a quarterback that can win. I think that just does not equate to good things. To the bowl game of Prove Yourself. Boy, everybody's excited in Glendale. It's 11 a.m. kickoff. It's a 1 p.m. start East Coast time. LSU, UCF. I'll actually let you, if you want to have anything here. I don't get this game for UCF fans. I think LSU blows them out big. Well, and that, agreed. That's where I was going to go with that one. Nothing else to say.
Yeah. UCF's a great, fun story. I think the balloon gets popped. I think it's going to be bad.
I mean, I wouldn't be. I mean, it could be a surprise, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm not putting my money on it though. If I were betting, I definitely would go with LSU.
LSU big.
Yeah.
And by the way, no line listed for obvious reasons. I think they're trying to debate what they're really going to put that line on. Kentucky plays Penn State. Coin flip game. Kentucky and Penn State are even across the board. They have similar records. Penn State's got the better quarterback. Kentucky's had the magical season, but they really don't have enough playmakers or athletes that make you scared or worried compared to other SEC teams. This would be a bad loss for the Big Ten here, Jared. This is one I would think Penn State would win, but Penn State's been hard to predict from week to week. I think this game comes right down to the final minutes. I think it's going to be very tough. I think Penn State wins by 3.
You don't think Penn State starts to pull away later in the game?
They haven't done it all year.
Yeah, you're right.
I would be very careful if I were Franklin. You don't want to lose that. This is a careful game. Don't lose this game. Yeah. Beat Kentucky. Win the Citrus Bowl and get out of there. You don't want to lose games like this. The game before the Big Daddy, after the Big Daddy, is Texas, Georgia. That's the All-State Sugar Bowl. I kind of mentioned this already, and I still feel this way. I know Texas has improved. I've heard some experts say that they think Texas will give Georgia a game. I think that's very kind and cute. I think Georgia wins big in this.
Georgia has to. It's a statement game. I think Georgia's got to win big in this one.
I do too. All right, let's get to the 3 big ones.
Yep.
Washington State, Ohio State. Let's get to that first. That's at 5 o'clock, as it always is. The Rose Bowl. It's on ESPN. It used to be on ABC forever. Now it's on ESPN at 5 o'clock. the game itself is the game itself. I think the two big storylines, which might turn into a third, we've kind of talked about. This is the swan song for Urban Meyer. It's his last dance here before he gets out there. Traditionally, in college football games like this, with coaches like Urban Meyer, the team whose coach is leaving usually wins big. Do you feel that way going in, Mr. Buckeye?
Yeah, I'm giving the points and taking the over. Absolutely, and the over is 58 points. I wouldn't be surprised if the Buckeyes put up close to 58 points in this game. I think that as we saw towards the end of the season, Ohio State's defense came to life. I really feel also the issues along with Urban, depending on what Dwayne Haskins is going to do next season. This is a game where Ohio State is going to roll big, and I can't see any other outcome. Can't. What does Washington have to offer at the end of the day, really?
I think Washington's going to give them a game.
Tough run game.
I think Ohio State wins though comfortably, but I think Washington's in until about late third quarter.
It wouldn't surprise me if it's a game that Ohio State doesn't pull away from until the third or fourth quarter, but they're going to pull away. They're going to pull away, and there's going to be a lot of points scored in this one. I think I would give the points and take the over.
We'll get to our aftermath of Ohio State after this game, so I'll kind of save Urban Meyer. But I think the other two interesting storylines here from a Buckeye perspective is Haskins, who's being predicted by some to be the first quarterback drafted this year's draft if he chooses to go. Mm-hmm. And I think the other interesting carrot being led is the Georgia quarterback who's sitting behind the guy escapes my name right now. The quarterback for Georgia right now who's going to be there, who's probably playing in the next 2 years. The number one overall guy coming in was the quarterback who's now sitting for Georgia is hinting he might go to OSU if Haskins leaves.
I did see that. The question that somebody brought this up, and I haven't looked into. I saw it in passing, or I scrolled through it on my phone really quickly. What are the rules in regard to sitting on a transfer, sitting out a year? How does that work? Is that something you have to do?
I think Fields is going to sit out.
Okay.
But I think Fields got an interesting decision because I think it goes deeper than this for Fields. He knows the guy ahead of him is going to play next year. Do you go to Ohio State anyways? See what's going to happen. You get to play 3 years, or 2 years in this case, and then you get to get out of there. I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see what he does, because I think it's going to be tough for him to transfer like that straight out. I think that's going to be a tough one for him. Maybe they let him do it. I don't know. But I tell you, it adds a lot of juice to this game. And I'll tell you, just being an outside perspective, I think that gives a lot of credence to a new coach already for Ohio State. That's a good rumor to have when you're coming into a situation like that. You're
talking about Ohio State still in the top 5, top 3 in regard to recruiting for this 2019 upcoming season. Despite the two that left early after committing, they're still in that top 5, top 3. I can't remember exactly where they're at. And you're talking about bringing another quarterback. Ohio State, it bodes well for them. I think that
I agree.
Now we'll have to see, and that's only for next season. Coach Day is going to have to deliver, and that's just the way it is.
No, he is.
And I think even 2 losses is too much next season.
Oh boy.
I don't think that you know how it's going to get. I don't know how patient do you think anyone's going to be?
We're going to have to get to that 2019 podcast. I think you're right. You're right. We'll talk.
It's not my take. It's.
No, I hear you. I think you're right. By the way, I think you're right. And I understand what you're saying because I think you're right. I just don't agree with it. I think you're right.
No, I don't either.
I think you're right. The 8:00 game first, then we'll get to my Irish last. The 8:00 game is Alabama, Oklahoma. This game has turned more into a thing now because of the two guys who were in New York for the Heisman Trophy winner. And, with one of the closest votes you've ever seen, and with Tua losing to Mr. Murray, this game on paper, if you didn't know a lot about college football, probably sounds like a good matchup. 2 historical programs. Oklahoma, Alabama really doesn't get much better than that. It's a sexy matchup. I'll tell you, Tua is supposed to be healthy going into this game. I think this has major blowout written all over it. I hope I'm wrong. I think Oklahoma's going to get steamrolled in this game. I think it could be by 30-plus points. I love Alabama on the 14. Love it. Love it. I would love it at 19. I think Alabama's going to roll them. I hope I'm wrong. But I think they're going to roll. I think Oklahoma's defense, their heads are going to be spinning at the end of this game.
I can't believe Kyler Murray's only 5'10", and I'm guessing that's a generous 5'10". I think that could be an issue against this Alabama defense. I don't know.
I think it's going to be an issue. I think it's going to be an issue having people watch this game past the second half. I'm telling you, I think this game is. This game is.
Is this going to be? Is this going to be the kick in the pants that we should have put Ohio State in? Is that what this is going to be?
This is one of those. By the way,
we should have put Ohio State in.
It's not crazy because you have motivation for the quarterback. You have, which is all Saban needs in these games. Saban gets to prepare for 2 weeks. Again, Oklahoma has had a good year, but I've watched it, and yes, their defense played better against Texas, but I'm telling you. This is not good. No bueno. Going up against Alabama. Unless that defense really improves for one day. I just don't see it. I think Alabama rolls big. And now to my Irish at 4 o'clock. So the last game of the night is Alabama-Oklahoma on the 29th. The first game up at 4 o'clock is Notre Dame-Clemson. I've not seen a lot of previews yet for this game. People know out there how much I love Purdue. My mom's side of the family is a huge Irish fan, so I love Notre Dame football. Big Irish fan. I have not liked the fact that people have been crapping on the Irish all throughout this playoff. Laughter, like, oh my gosh, they're just the Thrones. They went undefeated. Notre Dame has earned the right to be there, and I actually think they've beaten better competition than what Clemson's played. I think the thing that people got to remember is Clemson played in a very soft ACC, and they did not play. I mean, their best win, Jared, I would say, is at home against Syracuse. Not great.
Yeah,
not great.
I don't understand. All right, the people that you're talking about are the people that are complaining about them not playing in a conference championship. That's really what that argument comes down to, right? You know, they didn't play in a conference championship. They don't get to go in.
That's a different debate. That's a different debate.
But you know that but people are conflating those two things. That's where that opinion comes from. So that's why I disregard it. I disregard it because it's silly. It comes from that place. So I'm leaving it be. Because I've got my own opinion. I want to go to 6 teams, give 2 a bye, and I want to go no conference championships. That's how I feel about the entire situation. So I don't know. I'm looking at a Notre Dame team that definitely deserves to be there, but it also highlights the issues, the bigger issues within the way that we do this. Just in the sense of being able to shut up those voices. Like you're gonna, of course you're gonna hear those voices. Like you expected it, didn't you, Andy? You expected to hear this talk about Notre Dame. But when we're talking about resumes, you're right. What is the big win? Who did Clemson play this season?
Texas A&M on the road. That might be it. Texas A&M on the road. Syracuse at home. Man, that's it. That's all you're talking about.
Right. Now, granted, I will say that Clemson has had a surprisingly good team, no matter who they've played. I don't know if what I'm saying is, Andy, they haven't been challenged, but I don't know. I don't know how good they are yet. I don't know.
Well, here's my spout here. I just think it's not fair to put all this negative effect about why Notre Dame's in it. But here's where I will say, being a Notre Dame fan, we just talked about unreasonable expectations. Well, I'm going to put some on the Irish. I think this is a big game for Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame needs this game. Even if they lose to Alabama,
right?
Or let's say a miracle happens, they lose to Oklahoma next game. Winning this game goes a long way in saying you're back. You've proven yourself. Stamp you. You're good.
Yep.
I think Notre Dame really, really needs this game. I think Notre Dame's going to feel that leading up to this game. This is an important game for this program. It's an important game for Kelly. They need to prove and validate some things. And that Alabama loss from a few years ago in that championship game still haunts them, as it should. It was a blowout, and they got slapped around. And it was embarrassing as an Irish fan. Dexter Williams and Ian Book are the keys to this game. They have to be able to score some points against a defensive line that's scary and very fast. They're going to have to protect well, They're going to have to make big plays. Notre Dame's had a propensity lately of putting the ball on the carpet. That can't happen here in this game. They've made some bad turnovers. Book has not played well, really since he's been injured.
Yeah.
Outside of his running ability, he's going to have to play well in this game. The only thing that I'm not naive about is how talented Clemson is, and you're right. And I'll also say Lawrence is a player. Clemson's going to win a national championship with Lawrence. I don't think it's going to be this year. But I think Lawrence is really talented, and they have so much good speed. Their running game's very good. It just runs down the mouth of ways of how Clemson can beat you. What I'm feeling, though, and what I'm sensing is I think Clemson coming into this game will score points, but I think they'll be surprised about how hard and how fast Notre Dame plays. The last time these two teams played, it came down to a miracle in the rain where Watson and the Tigers escaped. I think Notre Dame gets a revenge. I'm going upset. I mean, this is probably because I'm a Notre Dame fan, yes, but I also believe in my heart of hearts. I think Notre Dame really, really needs this game. I think the Irish won by 3 points in the squeaker. I think they just find ways to win. I think they'll make enough stops. I think Lawrence is still a freshman. He still plays like a freshman at times. I don't like the fact from Clemson they have not been challenged yet, in my opinion, outside of A&M really early in the year. And by the way, Bryant started that game, not Lawrence. I think that all plays a factor. I think Notre Dame also needs this game. And I guess I'm believing on stuff like that where it's like, well, you can feel that even as a college kid. Your program needs this win. You can't lose this game and expect it to be saying you're back. So I think because of that, I think Notre Dame and Alabama play for the national championship game. But I'm not naive. I think Clemson's got a very good team. I love Dabo Swinney. I think he's one of the best coaches in the game. I think it actually goes Saban step, Dabo Swinney step. That's how good I think he is. That said, Jared, I just think the Irish figure out a way to win. Because I know how much they need this game. I'm sure Kelly is pressing that upon them. It's a turnaround builder for this program, and it validates everything that they had done this year. I think the Irish figure out enough ways. I think Dexter Williams does enough at the end to win. I think Ian Book plays well enough to get them to win. I think and Lawrence can make mistakes. I think he'll make a couple in this game that Notre Dame takes advantage of.
For Notre Dame to win this game, does it have to be low scoring, do you think?
I don't think it matters. I think all that matters is Notre Dame having mistakes that get exploited. In the past in these games, Jared, they have mistakes. It's not just an interception. It's a pick six. It's not just a fumble. It's a fumble and then another fumble on top of that. Yeah. When Kelly's been in these games, Notre Dame seems to fall. The wheels come off fast, right? Miami last year, the wheels came off fast. Just don't allow a mistake to take over the game. And by the way, Clemson can do that. No question.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't even know how to pick this one. I don't. And it really comes down to Clemson's schedule. I have to lean I have to lean towards Clemson, but I can't because they're not giving me enough to go on. They've got
Clemson's a very good team.
Right.
I just don't like the fact they haven't played anybody.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying Notre Dame's been a world-beating team, but I mean, enough experts say Michigan's got a really good defense, even though what happened in Columbus. Well, Notre Dame won that game. They beat some teams that have some pop, that have some sizzle. I just think Notre Dame's been tested more than Clemson. And I also, watching Lawrence play this year, Lawrence is a year away from being. I think Lawrence and Clemson next year are going to be hard to beat. I just don't know if it's this year. So because of that, I take the Irish.
All right.
And I will say a bit of its hope.
And then
because I think if.
And then in a national championship game, what do you think?
We can predict that later. I really don't want
to. No predict. By the time we do anything again, it's gonna be over. All right, we're not gonna predict.
Look, it'll be January 7th or whatever. Look, I'll make a final prediction after the new year, but let's not be naive. I think the machine is up and running in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I think it's up and running and doing just fine.
Yep.
Doing
no
just
rust,
fine.
no cogs out of place. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you don't think that the Tua issue could come up again? No injury issues, none of that stuff, nothing. All right.
Well, Tua seems to be healthy. I think there's some juggling there to be done. Any team can lose in a given day. That's why football's great. It's one game and out. in both leagues, the pros and the college game. But I just watched Alabama enough to know they got smacked in the face a little bit by Georgia. Oklahoma, how about this? If Oklahoma doesn't get blown out, I will feel much better about the Irish chances. But if it's 20-plus points, which I think it will be against Oklahoma, doesn't matter.
Something about that SEC championship game just makes me believe that Alabama has got that one of these three teams could really catch them on a bad day.
Yeah, you're right. Right.
They didn't look unstoppable in that game.
No, they got punched in the mouth, and they were definitely off kilter. And Georgia's very good.
Yeah.
Georgia, Ohio State, Clemson, Notre Dame, all those teams are pretty even. And Alabama just had one of those days where they, in the first half, came out sluggish, and Georgia really put it to them. But, when the time gets tough, Alabama looked like a pro team in the fourth quarter, be my comment, Jared. And it's like, you know what? Bing, bing, bing.
Yeah.
Couple touchdowns, stop. And that's not
so fast.
In most sports, you see that. It's almost like Alabama said, bum, 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 ding, ding, ding. See ya.
Yep.
That's just my opinion. I just think they're that good right now. I just think they're that good. And I got to go with what my eyes are telling me, and I think they're that good.
Yeah, I can't argue with you.
I think Alabama's going to be very focused. I just think they're going to be very tough to beat. And I'd love for nothing more to come here on January 3rd, whenever we come back and do our podcast. Actually, probably do that podcast that Thursday or Friday or whatever. I would love nothing more, Jared, to come back and talk about that being wrong. Nothing more.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Nothing more. But last thought, then we'll sign off here. Is there anything that you would say with the Urban Meyer sign-off bowl that can happen that would make you feel more positive about Urban Meyer in a game like this? Because I think most conclusions is just hopefully you win, get out of here, get on. We're kind of moving on. Really don't want to have any more sympathy for Coach Meyer at this point. Is there anything there that could really, gets carried off the shoulders by the team? Is there any moment that can happen there and make you feel more positive about the Buckeyes? Everybody's kind of the same vibe. I don't want to speak for you, but you kind of give me that vibe. I really just hope the game they win. Just get out of here.
Andy, I don't think that Urban has the ability to understand how a lot of people feel in regard to his situation to correctly figure out the right words that I would want to hear. Like I don't think he's ever going to be the guy that and I can't. I'm not going to harbor any more ill will. I'm not going to continue to beat down on him. I get it. He's had a rough season. He's dealing with stuff, that I can't even. I don't know how to put myself into his shoes in regard to the health issues that he's dealing with. Mm-hmm. I just wish he knew how to properly take responsibility. And I don't know if that is a product of the system that he is in, so it's hard for me to completely put blame on him because he's really, in a lot of ways, tied to what the AD wants him to do, what the NCAA as a whole expects out of him. When these guys, they sell their souls to college football, at the end of the day, that's what they're doing. So maybe I shouldn't have higher expectations of any of these guys when it comes to situations that Urban has found himself in this season, and not to mention has found himself in the past as well. So I don't know. I'm numb to it. I don't think there's nothing he can say. I'm just ready to turn the page. And then probably in 7 years get mad at Coach Day for something dumb that he does, because it's cyclical, Andy. It's cyclical in all these big programs, and you can we all know how good Nick Saban is, but you can't tell me that he hasn't done things and said things and acted in ways that he shouldn't have too. All of them. I told you, they all think they're gods. They all act like deities at these schools. So what do you do other than roll your eyes and move ahead? Okay.
I agree.
Yep, great.
I
All right. Win the Rose Bowl, great. Win the Rose Bowl. It's not what it used to be. It doesn't have the same meaning. So.
Yeah, all to be said is very truthful, yet I must admit, and how much I love Cleveland sports and I love all the teams very much, college football is my favorite sport. I love college football. I love all of it. I know there's a bit of sleaziness to it and all that stuff, but I do love it.
Hey, I was in the same boat with you up until about 3 or 4 years ago, where my opinion started to change. It just did.
I hear.
I don't know.
I'm not going to blame you. There's many people who've been on that platform, so I hear you. My last final thought: big game for the Irish. I'm interested to see how the Big Ten performs. We talked about Iowa. I think Penn State's a game to watch. Be interested to see how these games perform and watch. But I think at the end of the day, it's funny. We go through all these bowl games and stuff. What I've come to the conclusion of at the end of this, college football is better with this 4-game playoff. I don't think we've quite figured out the perfect system yet. And I think these bowl games, they're going to have to do some more shaping, because I love the fact there's all these bowl games going on, but they're not connecting right now. Meaning I don't care about some of these games. They're going to have to figure out – I don't know if they'll ever figure it out, Jared. Maybe they don't, but some of these bowl games, it's just hard to get into. Even the ones like the Citrus Bowl and LSU and UCF, like these games are hard to get into. So,
well, I mean, Andy, and this is crazy and off the wall. I know it's completely outside the box, but maybe you turn all these things into little tournaments. I don't know.
That's my point. I think
it sounds absurd, but
no, you're kind of getting where I'm going. I think there's still some things to be figured out. I guess would be my point. Well, I hate to do this, but I'm very hungry. For 2 hours.
We're good. We've talked a lot. That's fine.
For people who listen to us, we'll be back probably. Let me make sure I got the date right. It's gonna be that Friday. We won't be here for Browns Ravens, which is so sad. I love that game. Probably around the 3rd or 4th, something like that. Thursday the 3rd or Friday the 4th, we'll be back. Talk about all this stuff.
Yeah, if there's some strange way that we can do some sort of, Andy, and just so you know, I can do recorded phone calls too. I might even just give you a call, talk for 10 minutes, record it, put an intro and outro on it, and slap it up
Ravens Browns.
Yeah.
Maybe just Ravens Browns. We should do something on that. But I hope everybody has a happy holiday out there. I got a date with Santa again tonight at several stores, so we're going to do some more negotiating and talking.
I'm packing
I hope everybody has
Ohio.
Yes. I'll be flying back quickly and then coming back home, and I hope everybody has plenty of eggnog. And for those of you like me, add some rum or whiskey to it, and enjoy yourself. Please enjoy yourself. I think everybody stresses out way too much about the holidays, but time to relax.
Plenty to stress out about the holidays. We can talk about a lot of things right now in this country to stress out about. So we'll leave it at that.
Don't watch the stock market or any national news show.
Yeah, exactly. avoid all major news throughout the holiday season. He's Andy Billman. I'm Jared Watson. This is Andy and Jared, Cleveland and beyond. We'll talk to you again after the holidays. Take care. Hey, don't forget to follow Andy and Jared, Cleveland and Beyond on Facebook at facebook.com/Cleveland and Beyond, and on Twitter at CLE and Beyond. That's at CLE and Beyond on Twitter. You can also shoot us an email, andyandjared@gmail.com. Looking forward to hearing your comments.